Peace. I am Oriana Lee, MC, artist, and educator, and I'm speaking to you today about the history of hip-hop. Interestingly enough, hip-hop wasn't actually called hip-hop at first. As a new culture in New York City in the early 70s, it was a way for youth, mostly teenagers, to express themselves, many as an escape from the poverty and gang violence that burdened their communities. Hip-hop is a culture and art movement created by Americans of African and Hispanic descent. While not exclusively, hip-hop culture at large has always been inclusive and welcoming of all people who represent the foundations of the culture, which has allowed for people worldwide to associate with the hip-hop movement. Hip-hop has 4 original elements, also known as founding pillars or foundations. Now a little about each element. DJing, originally called turntabling, which is using vinyl records and 2 turntables to manipulate sounds and create and play music, came to be known by DJ Kool Herc, who is credited with throwing the first party back in 1973 in the South Bronx, South Bronx. There, he displayed the unique style of hip-hop music that he introduced by highlighting breakbeats, which can be described as the drum solo breakdown often heard in soul and funk music. Herc's innovative flair and fresh style on the turntables would become mad important in the growth of both the b-boy, b-girl, and the MC. MCing, also known as rapping or rhyming, is said to have accompanied the DJ since the very beginning, with party rocker Coke La Rock being amongst the first. As originally the person on the microphone to make announcements and occasionally hype the crowd, catchy rhythmic rhymes and call and response, a traditional African-based vocal exchange, quickly became standard and the hip-hop voice was born. Inspired and influenced by jazz scatters, soul and jazz poets, and certain local New York City radio DJs, MCing took off in popularity amongst the youth and invited those who were often voiceless to use their voice in a creative way through what is now known as rap music. DJ Hollywood, DJ and MC, is widely acknowledged as the king of rap and the first person to grace the mic in true hip-hop fashion. Okay, so commercially known as breakdancing, or originally b-boying and b-girling, with the B short for break. The name, given by DJ Kool Herc from spinning break beats in his classic style, and dancers using the music to work out their fanciest footwork to the beats. This became one of the highlights of the parties and dance style, heavily influencing first-generation b-boys like Trixie and Clark Kent, with mad crews to soon follow. In the early mid-'80s, a number of films documented breakdancing, as the media coined it, bringing it worldwide recognition. B-boying and b-girling experienced a boost in popularity in the early 90s and has continued to grow globally. Now, graffiti writing, also known as graph or writing, given mainstream attention in the 80s, is a form of writing using primarily spray paint to artfully beautify public spaces and subway trains. Graffiti writing actually came before all of the other elements in the 60s in the Philadelphia underground by a writer who identified by the name Cornbread. One of the first popular New York writers was Taki 183, known for his colorful wild style art, most often the hip-hop style most portrayed in the media, though there are many styles. Jean-Michel Basquiat is one of the most well-known graffiti artists who was able to fully cross over into modern art as a painter. Many have been co-credited with coining the term hip-hop. But according to pioneer and South Bronx community leader Africa Bambaataa, Love Bug Starsky was the first to use the term as it relates to the culture. Bambaataa, former gang leader, did much to further popularize the term. Bambaataa also promoted a growing consciousness and confidence around African history and honoring it, and created the Zulu Nation, an organization to uphold the principles of hip-hop: peace, love, unity, and having fun. Allow me to note that as many of the originators were male-oriented, women have also participated in the culture since the beginning. In the early days, rappers like MC Sha Rock and Roxanne Shante were given as much respect as their male peers. as well as graffiti writers Lady Pink and Charmin 65 and Big Girl Rockefeller. They all led the way for women to be rightfully recognized as popular hip-hop artists. Since the early 70s, hip-hop has grown a lot. Today, elements of hip-hop can be found regularly used in marketing and media, television and movies, and in every crack and crevice of United States culture. Rap often gets a bad rap, regularly associated with crime, drugs, and big spending. But when you think about the real principles, a culture based on peace, love, unity, and fun has to be of great value in making this world a better place. And isn't that the kind of world we all want to live in?